In 1998, the Philippines celebrated or commemorated the 100 years of the Philippine independence or the independence of the Republic. Ito nga ay yung, kung natatandaan nyo sa kasaysayan, sa pahina ng ating kasaysayan, yung revolusyon noong 1896, na ang kulminasyon ay ang paghahayag ng ating kalayaan sa Cavite noong 1898. Marami pong kwento yung 100 taong selebrasyon ng 1998 at isa sa mga tampok na kwentong kaakibat nito o kakabit nito ay yung mga umano'y, mga maanomalyang proyekto na kakabit ng pagdiriwang na iyon. At yung kwento dito sa PDAF ay nalaman natin sa mga pagpapahayag sa media ng mga tinatawag nating whistleblowers na nasa pangangalaga ngayon ng National Bureau of Investigation. Way back in 1998, there was this man, this person who was assigned to one government office and became the whistleblower at that time. Kasama po natin siya ngayon para balikan yung nakaraang yon at yung karanasan niya ngayon at pagbabalik niya sa Pilipinas na meron ulit siyang nadiskubring umano'y anomalya uli sa mga pamamahala o mga pamamaraan sa gobyerno. Kasama po natin siya ngayon, si Joseph Ocol. Siya po ay teacher na in Chicago, in the United States of America, at siya po ay president ng Catanduanes Institute of Technology Foundation. Mr. Ocol, Joseph, magandang gabi sa iyo.
Hello, Arlene.
Long time no see. Marami siguro ang magugulat. Makikita ka sa television ngayon. You are the original whistleblower way back in 1998. And that was the biggest anomaly in that period covering the Ramos administration. Ano nga ba nangyari doon?
Well, in 1996, I joined the government. I was with Philippine Airlines earlier. After 21 years of service, I joined the government. And that was my first time to serve the government. And I thought it was really something, no?
Payback.
Maipakita ko rin kapag silbi ako. So, I joined the Clark Development Corporation as the manager for corporate planning and head executive assistant to the president. But in the course, one of my functions was to review the construction paper, infrastructure projects. But in the course of doing my job, I found out that there were certain anomalies there. And kasi I found out also that most of these projects were by contractors connected with politicians. And I became a bit curious about that, and I went over further on the figures, no? And to make a long story short, I sought the help. I sought the help also of some engineers from UP, and we went over the details of the materials at saka yung mga costing. And we found out 70% overpriced. Mostly overpriced yung mga projects. So in other words, I tried to go farther. No? Yung pala may mga cut na yan. Even the bidding, tatlo yung bidders, may dalawa dyan na part sila.
Saling pusa lang pala.
So, in other words, malaki pala yung conspiracy nito. So, it somewhat, I just felt that I have to do something about that.
May nangyari ba doon sa paglabas mo? May naakusahan ba? Dumating ba ito sa korte? May nakulong ba rito? May nanagot ba?
Umabot ito sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. There was an investigation done by the Senate Blue Ribbon. I was placed under the Witness Protection Program for almost 2 years. There was a recommendation, but after that, I don't know what happened. So I thought it was also not good for a whistleblower like me to see a future, no, dito sa Pilipinas, because at that time ang hirap na wala nang work noon, pero hindi pa rin ako makakapagtrabaho because in one way or the other parang persecuted ako noon.
Kaya ka napadpad ngayon sa Estados Unidos
Well, I
and became a
decided to
teacher.
leave. Yeah, I decided to leave because there was no future for me then. And I thought unless they do something about protecting whistleblowers, I decided to leave because I thought that was the best move I could make because there were a lot of threats also on my family. Also, my parents. Parents ko, they were so worried about that. So I said, I have to go.
The system and the process related to protecting whistleblowers or witnesses, such as yourself way back in 1990, it's the same system and processes that is being adopted now. Nang bumalik ka sa Pilipinas, meron kang inabutang balitang napakalaki tungkol sa isang kaso na naman ng pagsasamantala sa gobyerno. Parang katulad, kahawig nung dinidescribe mo kanina, overpriced ng 70%. This time naman, walang delivery kasi yung 70% pinaghahatian pala ng iba and just 15% goes to district projects according to a number of whistleblowers now with the NBI. Para bang deja vu ito? Ano yung pakiramdam mo when you came back to your country for a vacation and realized na ganun pa rin ang kwento?
Ganun pa rin halos. Pareho lang eh. Because, let's say, 15 years ago, that was 1998, binibigay lang sa whistleblowers 5,000 pesos. Ano magagawa mo sa 5,000 pesos? You will be provided...
Hanggang ngayon, 5,000 pa rin.
Ganun din ngayon. No? Then, unlike in the US, kung whistleblower ka, they will give you a new identity, they will provide support.
A new
Dito,
life.
wala eh. There's no life for a whistleblower. Of course, on their part, no, they've done something. Pero ganun ba ang ibabalik? Ganun bang klaseng treatment ibibigay sa kanila? So I pity that itong mga nagiging whistleblowers din ngayon. No? Sana may tulong maibigay. Sana mabigyan din ng work, no? Kasi even sa work, nahirapan ako noon eh. Nahirapan ako kasi pag alam nilang na whistleblower, wala na. So ganun pa rin ang binibigay, wala. So there's not much changes. And I think it boils down to the support of these politicians. They should look into this law. If there's a law on whistleblowing, they should try
You're
to
not
do that.
saying, Joseph, Mr. Ocol, na parang mapupunta sa wala itong ginagawa ng mga nasa kamay ngayon ng NBI. Although, comparing the two of you and the whistleblowers that are with them right now, ibang circumstansya. You were kumbaga, you were examining a project, di ba? Sa pag-examine dun mo nalaman. Whereas in this case, sila kasama sa una, nagkasira-sira lamang sila. Yun ang kwento ron. Hindi mo naman dinidiscourage itong act nila and you still think it's courageous for them to speak as they are speaking now.
I admire their courage. I admire their courage, yung nila, dedication na gusto nila talagang Pero ganitong klase, there are two types of witnesses eh. Witnesses who were involved in the anomaly and witnesses who saw that and wanted just. They were not involved. So dalawang klase yun. So, if they were involved, somewhat depends on the state, no? Kung bigyan sila ng protection, then depends on the mga lawyers na yan. But ang point ko dito hindi yan ang talagang mastermind at saka even Napoles. She's just one of those, pero hindi yan ang tingin ko ang dyan yung mga politicians. Itong problema dito we're so much politicized Masyadong yung politics natin to the point na nandyan yung graft and corruption. Kita mo, even sa Luneta, yung Million Rally, nasaan yung majority? Majority hindi man makapunta sa Luneta because ang mismo, they have to struggle day to day. Day to day lang. Kung pumunta ka sa probinsya, day to day struggle yan. Hirap sila. Even in the island of Catanduanes, hirap ang kuryente, hirap ang tubig. So, there are a lot of issues here na related sa politics. It's the politics na
Public
problema.
service, the administering of public service.
Yes. It's dito, nangyayari kasi dito, sa nakikita ko, kung may pera ka, pwede kang tumakbo. But as to whether or not talagang dedicated ka para makatulong sa bayan, that's another question.
Nagsisi ka ba, Joseph, nung ginawa mo yon na ikaw ay naging kasangkapan para mabunyag ang isang anomalya na, by the way, gusto kong sabihin sa'yo, hindi naman talaga umusad. I'm trying to answer my own question kanina, hindi umusad yung kasong ito. Nagsisi ka ba?
Hindi ako nagsisi. I believe I've done my part as a citizen. I was just an ordinary citizen. I was trying to do my job as a citizen. I was trying to do my job also since I was with the government. Because at that time, I was so idealistic. Nakita ko na, if you're the government, you are the servant of the people. Pero it's not, in reality, iba palang nangyayari. Iba nangyayari. Yung mga projects na yan, kontrolado ng mga politician. Infrastructure projects. Yung mga road projects, yung mga bridge projects, yung mga timpla ng semento. I tried to check on that, no? Even midnight. Kung bakit sila nagtitimpla ng semento, wala naman yung quality control doon. Yung pala, nandun yung timpla na sino-shortchange nila. Kaya tuloy-tuloy din yung construction ng mga even all over the Philippines, may mga nangyayari yan. Tuloy-tuloy lang ang construction project. Paulit-ulit lang. Nagkakaroon ng cycle. So, nakakalungkot kasi pera ng taong bayan napupunta sa mga bulsa ng mga politicians.
Nung bumalik ka sa Catanduanes, kabibisita mo lang, at bago ka bumalik sa Estados Unidos ng Amerika, sabi mo, maraming kulang, walang kuryente, walang tubig, and it's 2013 already, yung pa rin ang problema sa Catanduanes, one of the poorest provinces in the country, by the way. Bakit ka nga pala napauwi doon at ano yung concern mo doon?
Well, when I left for the United States, my father, at the time, he founded a school. And that school was
That was in 98?
Actually, it was earlier than that. It was in 1994. And he was then 77 years old.
A retired teacher?
Yes, and he just wanted to leave something. He wanted to leave a legacy, that was his word. Kaya tanong ko nga, bakit at this age na, he wanted to leave a legacy. He wanted to leave something, Catanduanes, where he was born. So I supported him in that. At tinulungan ko siya in whatever capacity, in whatever way I could, tinulungan ko siya. Even when I was in the US, I was sending equipment, some tools, kung ano itulong ko sa school. I was sending money. But in the end, nakita ko rin na despite the sincere intentions na makatulong ka sa taong bayan, nagkakaroon ng manipulation. Even schools owned by politicians, sila nagmomonopolize sa scholarship programs. At saka, there are scholarships for sale. Nangyari, ginagamit ito, yung PDAF funds, napupunta dito sa scholarship. Itong scholarship ngayon, itong kinokontrol rin ng TESDA, binibigay, in-allocate, pero walang complete auditing.
Walang accountability.
Wala. Kung sinong gustong i-assign, doon i-assign. I have questioned that already.
In writing, formally?
Yes. Kasi in 2008, December, my father passed away. And I had to come back and see how I can help, no? And continue the school, continue the legacy of the school, of my father. But I found out, ang hirap pala. Una-una, dahil alam nila whistleblower ako, they didn't want to deal with me.
They know you will probably dig on the system.
Yes.
Which you did.
Yan ang kahirapan sa isang whistleblower sa Pilipinas. Secondly, of course, they had the courage to tell me. Kailangan may konting lagay. So, I don't want to.
Hindi ka nahulog doon?
Hindi.
Not even once? You didn't even try?
Ayoko.
No
Pati yung
compromise.
assessment, yung mga ayoko. So, one way, nakita ko, since 2009 until the present, nagkaroon ng sistema na pahirapan yung school namin. Talagang nahirapan.
At ang kalaban mo rito, Joseph, ay mga politicians in your province na may-ari ng school at doon napupunta yung kanilang PDAF at doon napupunta yung supposedly financial na tulong mula sa ahensyang tulad ng TESDA. Yun ang sinasabi mo at yun ang nirereklamo mo sa TESDA mismo. Tama?
Hindi lang sa politicians, but the minions of this politician. Minions. Yung mga tao rin sa TESDA. Kasi, siyempre, naghahanap buhay din. Gusto nilang hanap buhay na ganitong paraan. No? So, nandoon, nakita ko na kung paano nila gagawin. They play dirty tricks. They played dirty tricks. And they have been playing dirty tricks against our school and against me. No? Para lang mabigyan ng pabor yung ibang mga schools. Especially schools owned by politicians. And I was able to go over yung record. I had a chance to maghalungkat ng konti. No? Nakita ko nandoon yung sistema na ginagawa nila para to play dirty tricks. And I brought this to the attention even to the higher up in TESDA. I sought an audience with the Secretary Villanueva, Director General of TESDA. But unfortunately, the past 2 years, hindi ako makakuha ng audience. I was able to talk with the deputy, but so far, wala rin akong nakuhang information.
Hindi ba parang ano to, yung parang mabigat sa dibdib na ito na yung iniwanan mong sistema, ito na yung sistema na nagtulak sa iyo na iwan yung bansang sabi mo kanina by your own declaration, a country you love and live in the United States. Ngayon bumalik ka to continue the legacy of your father for love of country, for love of his place, and yet confronted by the same system that led you away from your country. Masakit na.
Masakit, mabigat. But again, I'm so inspired by this, yung kasabihan that the only way evil men succeed is when good men do nothing. So ako, despite these difficulties, I will want to take the challenge, no? Makatulong whatever way. So I want to continue the fight. I want to continue the crusade. And I want to continue also the legacy, to pursue the legacy left by my parents, my late parents.
Hindi ka ba natatakot? Nung umalis ka rito, may mga galit sa'yo because of what you did. That was the biggest scandal of the Ramos administration. And you're back and now you're fighting, you're trying to expose an experience in the education system involving TESTA, involving ghost projects, ghost scholarship. Parang you're going to go through the same experience again. Although ngayon, nasa ibang bansa ka at bumisita ka lamang dito, hindi pa nakakatakot.
Well,
bumalik ang nakaraan.
I realize I'm not getting any younger then, but if there's a legacy I would want to leave, it's something that I would like to continue this fight. Ang gusto ko lang rin na matuloy yung school kasi I cannot in conscience also just close down the school just because of these anomalies going on, of these struggles that I have to go through, of these difficulties, of itong mga persecution ginagawa nila. Lalo pang gusto kong labanan eh. But I'm also seeking support from some kind-hearted persons, people who want to continue this fight. And I would like to appeal to them. Kasi ito isang example ito sa Catanduanes ngayon. And I think this is going on nationwide. This is going on nationwide on this scholarship. Because I found out TESDA doesn't have the regulatory function. Yung CHED mayroon, regulatory function ng colleges, universities. Yung DepEd mayroon for elementary schools. Pero itong in between post-secondary, walang regulatory function. That
courses.
opens up the issue on itong mga abuses, itong mga that opens up eh. So kailangan ayusin yan eh. In fact, itong PDAF, hindi naman dapat ang PDAF to be doled out by legislators. Ayusin ng legislators yung mga laws. They should be crafting laws. They should not be distributing dole-outs. Legislative body sila eh. Ba't doon pumapasok yung... Kaya dito rin ang abuses. No? So, ang ko, ayusin yung sistema din. So, they should be focusing also on TESDA. Craft laws that will regulate.
You're saying, based on your experience, yung iniwanan mo noon in 98 at yung dinatnan mo ulit ngayon, nangyayari ang manipulasyon sa pondo sa pamahalaan. Hindi lamang dun sa pondong ipinagkakatiwala sa, kumbaga ay sa pagtaya at dispensasyon ng mga mambabatas, kundi dun mismo sa mga institusyon. In other words, it's the entire system.
Yes.
And how do you remedy that? Can you remedy that by yan, pag-whistleblow ulit? May makikinig ba? Naranasan mo na ito, Joseph, dati in the past?
I think we should just continue the fight. Continue the fight. Kasi ang nangyayari nga dito, there is a monopoly. Kung sino yung mayayaman, sila may control. Sila may control, politician. Kasi hindi ka naman pwede ka bang tumakbo kung wala kang pera. Should have the money. And those who win, sa mga political offices na yan, they have the money. But anong pwedeng gawin natin na wala tayong pera? I mean, should we continue? We just continue the fight. Maybe we should have a bigger, hindi lang 1 million march. Should have a bigger march. And we should continue on all the whole archipelago, all the provinces. Should continue that. And I think that's the only way to instill in the minds of these politicians na hindi pwede ng ganito eh.
Nagbago na
kawawa-
ba ang sitwasyon in 98 and now that you're back, sa tingin mo, with what you saw in Luneta, although it was not 1 million people in Luneta last August 26, sa tingin mo may pag-asa, may tsansa na yung hindi nagawa in 98 after you spilled the beans on a major anomaly in government, in a major project related to the centennial of 1998, meron bang pagbabago ngayon? Merong kaibahan ba? Hindi na yung sa this administration, talagang magkakaibang administrasyon yan, kundi kung paano kumikilos ngayon ang Pilipino at kung paano tinitignan ng mga issue.
Itong pagbabago ngayon, at that time when I exposed, ako lang mag-isa, at least nandoon yung VACC tumulong sa akin. There was an organization, the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption.
They were created in 95.
Which was created then. No, it was created in 1998.
Ay, 98
At the
pala,
time,
oo nga pala,
timing
oo.
na timing yun. No? Although wala akong walang million people march doon. At least mayroong organization. Yun ang importante rin sa mga whistleblower na mayroong tutulong. And there
May
was
support
Senator Nene Pimentel
At the
who was
time.
also helping me. No? So, at least yun ang nakatulong. Ito ngayon mas maganda on the part sa whistleblower dahil mayroong ganitong rally, no? Na i-instill sa minds ng politician na hindi pwedeng ganun-ganun lang. No? So, this is a better situation. But I think they should continue with it. They should sustain this. They should put more force in this. More teeth in this. Hindi lang yung pakita lang ngayon tapos later on wala. Madali tayong makalimot din Itong problema rin ng kababayan natin Madaling makalimot. Then election comes, ganun pa rin. Nananalo yung mga nakakakuha ng mga boto. No, so, we should have I think there has to be an organization will continue with this fight.
How important is this fight for you now? Sabi mo, ito, yung Catanduanes Institute of Technology and Foundation, a legacy of your father, pinagpapatuloy mo. Ito'y may connection din sa sinasabi mo kanina na pagmamahal sa bansa. Konektado ba ito? At gaano ka committed to continue this fight, even if you're not physically in the Philippines?
It's very important for me. Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, itong school na ito na iniwan ng father ko for me to attend to continue the legacy. Actually, wala akong sweldo dyan I'm the only president na walang sweldo, walang remuneration, walang perks. I've been the one supporting that on my own way as a school teacher in Chicago. But I cannot do it alone. But I want to continue that fight. And I believe there are people, marami rin na gustong tumulong, gustong i-change itong sistema natin. Gusto magkaroon tayo ng more ways in able to pursue the fight against graft and corruption.
Are you doing this for your father or are you doing this for your country?
I'm doing this for both. Because my father left something. The basic values of our ancestors. Honesty, integrity, industry. Okay. Ito mga importanteng values na dapat i-instill natin sa the next generation. Kasi kung wala ito, wala tayong ganitong, wala rin mangyayari. So we have to continue this fight. And we should not allow politicians. Of course, there are other politicians who would want to serve, no? Pero
To do good.
to do good. Pero masyado tayong political siguro we try to diminish this. Even yung mga Filipino-American newspapers sa US, no? Ang mga report galing dito, either crime, graft and corruption, or politics. Yun ang tatlo parati. So I think there has to be something else, no, to instill in the minds even of our children kung ano ba yung magaganda na pwedeng gawin din para sa bansa natin. Maglibot ka, I went around also, I had the chance to go around. There have been changes pero ganun, it's still politics, still about graft and corruption, crime. Hirap ang mga taong mga kababayan natin. Maraming mahirap. You go to the mga provinces yung walang power, walang tubig. Kung may tubig marumi yung tubig. So I want to do something more, no? Pero even in Catanduanes nahirapan ako. Nahirapan ako. That's why I hope to join, maybe there has to be a bigger group beyond Luneta.
At ikaw ay kasama noon kahit nasa ibang bansa ka. Uwi ka na eh.
Ever since na kuwan pa rin ako dito, I connect myself here. In whatever way, I try to connect here. Because this is where I was born. And this is where I'm gonna die. And this is where I intend to leave a legacy to the next generation.
Joseph, thank you very much. Si Joseph po ay pinagkatiwala sa amin na yung kwento niya, at bagamat maraming nakakilala sa kanya, this is his only interview sa television. At ako na magsasabi na hiya si Joseph. Si Joseph, ikaw ay di ba, pinarangalan sa Chicago, di ba? He's a teacher there. He initiated a project, a chess project,
Yes,
very briefly, and he was awarded by the government of Chicago and no less than the President of the United States, President Barack Obama.
He sent me a letter recognition for the efforts of helping the kids there through a chess program. But it's more actually of saving lives. I use chess as a tool to save lives.
You did us proud. Thank you, Joseph.
Thank you.
Joseph Ocol po, isa pong guro sa Chicago. Siya po ay Pangulo ng Catanduanes Institute of Technology Foundation. Siya po ay maituturing nating isa sa mga orihinal na whistleblower. Siya po ay nagbulgar ng napakalaking anomalya noong taong 1998. That involved a anomalous project related to the celebration of the centennial of the Philippines 1898 to 1998. At 2 taon siyang nanatili sa Witness Protection Program ng bansa. At matapos ang 2 taon, nung nakita niyang walang nangyayari, siya po ay umalis at nagpatuloy ng kanyang buhay sa ibang bansa. Nagbalik para makita na ganun pa rin ang sistema. Marami pa rin katiwalian, marami pa rin dapat ibunyag. Magbabalik po ang IBALITA Online, ilang saglit lamang.